And we know that a lot of people are feeling stuck. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And Derek and I both can relate. So we wanted to hop on and share some of the practices and some of the suggestions and things that we're doing in our own lives and that we share with our clients. And yeah, we hope you'll join this conversation with us. And don't just be a spectator, be a participator. Leave your comments. Let us know, some of your thoughts. What do you do? What are some of the action steps you're taking to unstuck yourself? And yeah, let's go. So Derek, what are some of the suggestions that you give your clients when they're feeling stuck? That could be they're carrying too much weight. They're not feeling their best. Maybe I know because your specialty is really fitness and health and mindset. So what are some of the things you'd suggest, Derek?
Thank you, Tara. So listen, first of all, delighted to be here with Tara. Like Tara has said, we've had some great conversations. And we just thought, listen, this is going to be maybe not our only life, but it's our first live together. And we just connected. And it is, listen, the live is about, I'm not even going to say helping, but giving you not tips, but giving you advice that when you apply, that can actually have a difference in your life and to unfuck yourself, because most people and a lot of people out there are just stuck. So what advice would I give? Listen, it's advice I'm going to give you that it's not about if applying, it's about when you applied. And it's always looking at it going, what's happened has happened, right? Now, where you are now is perfectly fine. If we can reframe that, and again, there's two ways. Listen, there's two ways people can create their own hell, or they can create their own heaven. That's going to be through thought, and it's going to be through sound, meaning pictures, overthinking what's going on in your mind, and your self-talk. Now, we'll get to that a little later, maybe, but what is one move you can do, concentrate and focus on, is what's the next step. It's not the end goal. Right. So I will get to that. It's not having it's okay. A goal is essential, but it's actually what can you do in the present moment? Could that be going to the gym? Could that be doing that one thing for your business? Could it be just sitting down and making a plan of action? Because when you do that one thing, what does it do? It creates that little bit of momentum, creates a better frequency. Then it's easier to do the next. It clears your path. And then, yes, what is essential to keep you on course is having a plan of action. Because listen, who's been there? We talk about, Tara said about the gym. It's about when you look at the gym and nutrition, it builds somebody's, we'll say baseline discipline, but it builds your commitment, which is even a better word to use. And when you are committed to something and it has been able to look up and go, nice one, this is my end goal, but I know my daily process is here. And it's always about the next step. Now you think about your reference point is here, college potential. You take that step, you take the next one. You build that momentum, you build that energy into your life. It creates that force. Because I do honestly, listen, momentum is an essential ingredient to your success. Because what we all have to realize as human beings, shit gets in the way. You're going to face challenges. And how do you overcome challenges? We can talk about beliefs. Like, your beliefs from the past have nothing to do with the present, but how can you create new beliefs? You create new beliefs by experience, meaning by doing something you haven't done, by sticking to it longer than you haven't done previously. That creates a new pattern, therefore creates a better result and gets you into action. So that's where I would start, Tara. First of all, it's actually about just taking that first step. Then after that, you have a bit of momentum. It is about creating the plan. And you have, we'll call it a roadmap to stick to. Then if somebody does deviate, because listen, we live in the real world, shit happens. Things get in the way. Something could happen within your family. Something could happen to your friends. Something could happen to you. But at least if it was 24, 48 hours, 72 hours, you were off road, you can come back on when you have the plan. And if you look at days and you're looking at, there's a lot of people, I want to have this perfect day, this perfect week, and that don't have it, things fall to shit. That's a bullshit attitude to have, because if you're winning more days than you're losing, aren't you winning?
Yeah, and I would add to that, Derek. I think like I've been in those really crappy spaces, where you're stuck and you should do something, right? You should get, moving your body, you've got to just get going. And I think for me, it's having that like honest talk with myself and saying, okay, we know exactly where this is going to go if you don't do something, right? It's that moment of, you just know, right? And I think like one thing I always do is I just say, that's it. Like, I am stronger than this. I can do this. I have everything within me that I need. I got to get over my alibis, my excuses, and my BS, right? That's the procrastination. And I agree with you. It's just that moment of like taking action, like imperfect action. And I love what you shared around, we can't live in the past. I mean, the past is the past. I think this is a challenge that most people have, is they just get so stuck, right? You get so stuck in a hole, and you just keep focusing your thought energy on all the failure and all the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, it all starts with a thought. And that would be my suggestion, is just to, again, just take some time and take a look at, well, what are you thinking? Because thoughts are things. And if you keep focusing on all those negative thoughts and how stuck you are and how difficult life is, and maybe you're angry at your partner, or you're carrying extra, a lot of people are saying COVID fat, and you're focusing on that. Well, when you understand universal laws, by law, you have to have that reinforcement. More people and situations are going to keep reinforcing you exactly what you're thinking. It all starts with a thought, and that causes a feeling. I always say, when you don't feel good, it's because you're emotionally involved in a bad idea. So you got to get your thought energy. You got to raise your vibe, right? You got to get your thought energy focusing on what you do want. So if you want to be in the best shape of your life, well, start focusing on that thought energy. Start focusing on who you need to be, because we don't reach our goals. We reach who we are. Like, we have to become that first. And I think that's absolutely essential. And if there was one thing I would suggest for someone who's feeling really stuck, is to have that pep talk with yourself and say, that's it. This is not working. Maybe get it in handwriting and just say, no more. Write yourself a contract. What am I committed to? And take action. And I know that if you're watching this and you do this, that it's going to help you just to take that next step, like Derek's talking about. It's the next step. It's just the action step. It might be just getting in your car and driving to the gym, right? And you might not, actually go in the gym, but the chances of you going in the gym, if you freaking get in the car and you drive there, they're going to be much higher, because you at least took an action step. You had that pep talk, you kicked yourself in the ass, and you said, come on, it's time, right? So what do you think, Derek?
Well, it is time. Listen, you talked about who you're becoming, and that is essential, because on language, I will get to. But it is actually having a clear picture in your mind. And this is something you do cultivate within. It's like, I'm not going to get all technical because this is our first live, but we can maybe do this technique next week. But it's just touching on what Tara said. And she hit the nail on the head, because if you don't have a picture in your mind of who you're becoming, it's like not having a plan. There's no real commitment to it. There's no real desire to achieve it, because when you can have a clear picture, and to keep a clear picture, it's always up to your right? We delete to our left, and that again will be actually another cool video for us to do. But you can see that person of, how are you operating differently? And if it was weight loss, what weight are you? How are you fitting in your clothes? And that will associate a feeling into the now. And even what Tara said, it's just getting your thoughts on paper. For a lot of people, it's overwhelming confusion. So if you think about it, like, you said it, your subconscious, you said it to me the other day. Your reality is controlled by your subconscious. So how do you change that? Well, you change that by adjusting your habits. And it goes back to what me and Tara have already said. It's, you have taken that first step. It is checking in with your language, like even just reframing stuff. Like, and I'll give you an example of this. If I ask somebody, hey, why didn't you go to the gym? Oh, I wanted to go, but I'm tired. So they're left with I'm tired, so they didn't go. But now if you switch that, hey, I'm tired, but I'm going to go to the gym, that leaves a completely different outcome. So, and this is what you're saying, Tara. And lads, if you apply that and you start testing out different, just changing around words, because you have the power to edit what you say, you have the power to edit your thoughts. And I'm not going to get deeper than that. But the most important thing here is so you can unstuck yourself is that one action, but is to check in with yourself, like Tara said. Get a pen and a piece of paper and write your thoughts. Therefore, you've put everything, all overwhelm, all overthinking onto paper, and then face the resistance. Because, if we don't fight against the resistance, like drive to the gym, the likelihood is you're going to go to the gym, like Tara said. Now, that's one step. All you have to focus on is the next step, the present moment. It's not on who you're becoming yet. It doesn't give a shit what's happened in the past. And that momentum will build and it will simmer away nicely in the background. And it's just applying that on a daily basis. It's when a challenge comes, instead of treating it as, oh my God, this is too, it's going, how can I find a solution? Now, when you do find a solution and you overcome that, what have you done? You've reinforced and built more internal strength within. And the more you do with that, the better your results become. So I hope that clears and answers that, Tara.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like what comes up as you're sharing, and I love our conversations, Derek, is, I think of times when I've been, really stuck in the past, right? And it was just like that beating up on myself and, not doing what I knew I needed to do. And I think that is like so important. I think that we need to get to that place of just being really uncomfortable. And that's actually a good space. That's a good space to take action from, because being sick and tired, we got to be sick and tired of, again, our habits, our bad habits, those alibis, our excuses, and our procrastination to just say, no more, I'm done with this. But if you stay in that space of beating up on yourself, it's like pouring liquid Drano down your throat. You're going to continue to spiral down. So you got to do something, and just one thing, and then I think it's important that when you do that one thing, that moves you towards, that better version of you and feeling better, is to just, like give yourself a high five and be like, that's it. I did it. I did this one thing. And and over time, it's going to add up, and you're going to have more action steps that you're going to start taking, and you're going to start feeling better. That's why like successful people of prosperity, they're action takers. They're willing to do what failures are not willing to do. So it's just baby steps. Rome wasn't built in a day, and over time it just gets better and easier. And I know if, anybody who's watching this live who just starts taking action, even if you were to write down a list of like, what are those 3 top action steps I've got to take today? And you just take action on that very first one. You give yourself a check mark, right? It's a dopamine hit. You give yourself a high five. It's a dopamine hit. And then every day until that's a habit, right? Because we can only change 1 or 2 habits at a time. So what 1 or 2 habits are going to move me towards what I actually desire? And if you take us up on this, because this is what we're doing this all the time, we're encouraging our clients to do this. And if you do this, you are going to start feeling better. You're going to gain momentum. You're going to start feeling more confident, because everything is coming from within. There's a saying, as within, so without. So without, as within. The world outside is just a reflection of the world inside. And I hate to break the news to you, but nobody's going to save you. So if you want your life and results to change, you've got to do that internal work. You got to take action. And we need to have incredible material to work with. We need to get knowledge. We're on information overload. So when I say knowledge and wisdom, that's a lot different than just gathering more information, because that's where we take action on that knowledge and wisdom. We do need incredible coaches. We do need incredible mentors. And I don't know about you, Derek. Well, we've talked about this. Like, I know for me, I am so grateful that there was a little voice inside of me that, knew that I had to do it myself, but I couldn't do it alone. And that's where I started reaching out to, people that were getting the results that I wanted, because I knew that they could help me.
Well, it's essential. Like, we've used that word, but like what we're talking about, they are essential skills to master. Like, to create new habits is a skill that we must all master. Well-formed, successful habits. But like, listen, Tara, I'm not going to get much into my life story today, but I would not be here without one of my mentors. And I've had many mentors since I got into the whole entrepreneurial world. It's why is that? Why would you invest in somebody? You're investing in somebody who has more knowledge than you, who is standing with you shoulder to shoulder, keeping you accountable to you reaching your goals. That's the reason for a coach slash mentor. And it's an investment, yes, of course, of time, energy, and a money transfer of energy. But it keeps, it starts with commitment. If you do have a goal in mind, it starts with making that commitment. Okay, this is who I'm becoming, but it's the daily process. And I like what you said. It's actually right. Go back to good feelings. What are the best feelings, if you do want to answer this, that you have experienced? I'm going to put, if I was still a betting man, I'd put the money on was from the less easy tasks, i.e., you've shown up and actually doing the hard work, you experience good feelings. Because the person who can show up, and I'm not saying all the time, because we don't want to do this all or nothing approach, but can show up most of the time, do the uncomfortable stuff. On the other side of that, it's feeling good. It's not the instant gratification bullshit. I was into that all my life, and I'm sure, we can talk about drink, drugs, overindulging in food. Negative talk. That's easy to do. That brings an instant feeling, but long term a shit feeling. Whereas, the simple thing to do is the next right move. And what is that next right move for you? And it is really fighting that, because it's going to be the inner dialogue, or it's going to be a bit of overthinking. And it's going, no, how can I recreate that it's going to work for me? That can be done through just in your language, like I said, or exactly what Tara said. It's creating good feelings, and behind that is the momentum that's going to power you through. And listen, if when you do apply what we've said, and it's simple, it's effective. It's not meant to be. None of this is meant to be, should we say, the word I'm using, overcomplicated, because life shouldn't be complicated, but people make it. So if one thing you're going to take from this is, what's one thing you can do to make yourself feel better? It's going to be the less easy decision, but on the other side of that, you're going to feel good.
Exactly. I think that's a good kind of self-check or self-assessment check. And I do that often is, comfort and complacency, it's the enemy, right? That's where we get comfortable being stuck. We get comfortable feeling like shit. So we got to do what's uncomfortable. And we know, I think, like, when we quieten the mind and we go within, we all know we can do better. I mean, I know I can always do better. And I'm always thinking, okay, what's that one thing I don't want to do? I got to take action on that today. I already did. I already took action on 2 things I did not want to do this morning. So that's the action step I would suggest as far as inspiring. If any of you are here with us and you're inspired and you're like, that's it, I want to, be that best version of myself. I want to, move towards those goals and dreams. I want to leave this planet a lot better off than I found it, would be to go, okay, what's that one action step? What's that one thing I know I need to do and I don't want to do it? And again, we said, be a participator here. Put in the comments. Let us know, what is that action step? Because accountability is the glue to commitment. We got to do it ourselves, and we can't do it alone. So Derek and I mean, we're not here asking for anything. We're just truly here because we want to support and serve. And we thought, what a great way to use media for the good, to share these conversations that we're having, and to really just hopefully inspire somebody there, even if it's just one person every day, to take action and do what is uncomfortable. So that's what I would suggest, is put a comment below. What is that action step you're going to take today? And that might even be just putting a comment, because I know a lot of people show up for these lives and They're watching our Facebooks, they're seeing what we're doing, they're scrolling media, which, by the way, is oftentimes just another way that we cope, and we're not doing our work. So why not use this for the good and post that action step?
Well, I want to touch on something you just said. I want to. Now that's powerful because, again, guys, if you check in with yourself, I'd ask a lot of questions on a daily basis, and I would get replies. Oh, I'd like to do that. That could be something I do, and I should be doing. Now, when we can take should, could, and I'd like to, I want to. Now, all of a sudden, what does that do to your thought process? Then you follow it through with the action step. That's the start of the process we're talking about. Because I called something, Tara, having a program of mine. It's a course actually, and I call them well-formed successful habits. But like, how do you form them? Exactly from this conversation, what we're having and what we're, teaching you guys, and with the aim that you'll apply it, and when you do apply it, you can actually come back to us and go, do you know what? Is it simple, very effective, and I got a result out of it? Because we have to cut through the bullshit as well, and it has to be time to roll up the sleeves and do the work. Like, talking is great, but when it's coming down to taking the right actions, and the more, listen, we can't always take the right actions, but the more right actions you take in your life, the better the result is going to be. And that's where the new habits are created, by you experiencing it and by you showing up and doing the work.
Exactly. I love that. And what I heard as you were saying that is like, thinking and talking is not enough. You got to walk your talk. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to step forward and, again, just say, that's it. I'm done with this. This just is not working. And I know many of you, that are watching this and that are out there, the last couple of years was really tough on a lot of people. Derek and I have been talking and just, looking at ways that we can support and share, because we have such great conversations. I love what Derek's doing in the space of fitness and health, because I hear all the time, this whole thing around COVID, weight, and disease, sickness, mental health, all these horrible things that people are experiencing, which is not, again, being done to us, but for us as an opportunity. We've seen it rise like in such a big way in the last couple years, right? The fastest way to control people is just, right, isolation and negativity, all this negative news, all this fear mongering. So I hope that you'll take something from this call and you'll start being that person, that action taker, that's going to take control of your own life, because unfortunately, again, nobody's going to do it for you. You've got to take action. We do need incredible, mentors and teachers. And Derek and I have learned so much from our mentors, but it's really, when it comes down to it, you've got to take action and do something. And if you do, it's just magic and miracles, and truly just expect a miracle every day. I mean, the fact that you woke up, it's a miracle. You've got another day of living. Like, how does that feel? Again, that shifts your thought energy, where you're focused and emotionally involved in a good idea. By law, when we focus on what is good, we attract. It's an attraction vibrational universe, right? We will attract more of what we want. So let's get on that frequency. What do you think?
Yeah, it's time for people who are stuck to start, really thinking about what they want, adjusting their attitude to, we remove the I can't do to an I can do, and an I can do of just taking the next step. And I can do, you know what, I'm lucky to be alive. And like, what's the chances that we're all here? If you actually did I don't know, it's probably one in billions and billions and maybe trillions that we are here as human beings. And if you feel, okay, you haven't been living, I suppose we will say, a happy and fulfilled life, that's okay. It's perfectly fine where you are today. But now, currently, you do have an opportunity. You have a decision. Now, the decision, I use something like a value. It's a value system, right? And let me just explain it quickly. When you have a big decision to make, is it a decision that's going to take away from your life, or is it a decision that's going to add to your life? Obviously, we're trying to add to your life. Now, can it be all perfect? We're not. fucking looking for perfect. We're looking maybe for ideal. But even if you got two out of three things off, like Tara suggested off the list, that's a win. It's more than what you did yesterday. You build on it, get the foundation built, and start building on it within. And let's be real about this. It does take time. That's why I will always recommend keep it within the day-to-day process. Yeah, there's your goal. Bit of inspiration. If you look up, that's it. You're back down and focus on the next step. So I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too, Derek. So just a little bit maybe about us really quickly. So we're going live to my personal Facebook, and many of you know me, family and friends. So I've been working in this area of self-development and mindset for many, many, many years. And one of my mentors is Bob Proctor, who recently passed. And so I absolutely love what I do, which is, helping people reach, greater levels of prosperity, health, wealth, and happiness. Derek, a little bit about you.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm an Irishman living in Malta. We run an online company called Drowe Method. Why it's called that? I have a vast life experience, we would say. We won't get into that now. If you want to find out more, you can read my life story. But my life experience is like Tara, many coaches and mentors. I've put it all together into my own methods and principles. We have a good team here online, helping men mainly, but of course, some fine ladies out there as well, to develop better habits through training and nutrition, and to really promote a lifestyle that promotes your health, your wealth, equals your happiness. And a big part of it, I'm going to say 50% mindset. That's what 50% of our work is. And it's about having somebody moving freely, operating at a high level, feeling good, both internally and physically, and results that continue, continuous results, should I say, and getting tongue-tied there. Instead of a program that's just 12 weeks, the methods that you learn, you can still apply them in 12 years, 20 years, and get the same results.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, that's what we teach. When you're working with the subconscious mind, it's that repetition, right? That's the only way we change our current programmings. It's that spaced repetition, and we're all genetically, environmentally programmed. And you got to take a look honestly at your results. And I just want to encourage you to courageously, honestly look at your results. And if you're not happy with your results, take action, do something. Derek and I, we'll leave our links here in the comments if you want to reach out to either of us. But we made a commitment, because we've been having these conversations because of, internationally working with our clients. And we decided, hey, let's just start showing up. So you're going to get another little message or a nudge from us that we're going to go live again. And we look forward to jumping on that next conversation with you. And if there's anything that you would like us to, share around or support you with, please put that in the comments too. So have a great day, everybody. And thanks for being here. Oh, I see Joshua. Hi, Joshua. He jumped on the StreamYard. Look at those tech skills. Great action-oriented video, good interview. Thanks for being here, Joshua. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.